Right, here we are with the third game, and I'm driving one of my German tanks, one of the early models from the tier 1 or whatever it is, I don't remember exactly. So we'll see how we go with this one. And we're off. And of course everybody's jockeying for position, trying to miss each other. As you can see, I'm heading off to the far right side of the game. I don't know why, but when I start from in this game, I always seem to go to this side. There's less tanks this way. I think I've very rarely come across lots of tanks. Here at this point, I swear my driver's been on the snups too much last night. The way he's all over the place just here. Yeah, coming this way. Generally, if you're going to run into enemy vehicles, it will be just up around where these rocks are that are off to the right there, just as you get around the corner. So basically from this point onwards, if there's fast moving tanks from the other way coming this way, you generally run into them along this section here. The other thing you can do too when you get to here is go left and up into the buildings up there and fire down on the enemy. And the second place you generally run into them is up on the next bend, directly ahead. Now, I'm pretty sure there is a tank there because it was firing at me. I wasn't sure where the firing was coming from. I thought it was actually from behind. Even though I'm in full view, they're not really aiming too well because they're shooting along the ground, which is making me think it was coming from up above, but it's physically impossible for a tank to get up there from the other side. They can only get it from this side up to there, and so I head up this way again, and now and behold, just as I come around this corner, again I got to here, I look back, double check, make sure there's no enemy tanks up in those buildings. As I said, it's physically impossible for a tank to get up there from the other side. They've got to come along this road and take that turn off to the left where I showed you. And yes, here's the fellow that was shooting at me. Now this particular tank is in the collectors section for the Americans, and I've only just recently got one myself. As you can see, I take a shot straight in the centre, but he still takes me out there. By rights, in a penetration like that, somebody in that tank should have been killed, and a lot of the crew should have been injured. So changing players here to see who's got the best situation going at the moment for action, and everybody seems to be hiding everywhere for some unknown reason. Don't know what's going on here with my team players. With this fella, he's just sorry, obviously he's taken some damage. He's gone up there to get out of harm's way, and lo and behold, it's the same tank I was driving before. Now I've changed view again, and we're up the top here, in amongst those buildings I was talking about earlier. Just off to the right up there, that's where I was taken out. This guy is, I think, looking around for enemy targets and a good position to shoot from. Looks like he's not finding anything available at the moment, and now he's heading back. The last thing you really want to do is knock down trees, because it lets your enemy know there's a tank heading in a certain area. When they see a tree being pushed down, that's how I've known quite a few times when the tank's coming up and I've waited, and as soon as they come to view, I've started shooting at them. This guy is taking shots. No, he's not shooting just yet. He's still looking for a target. Now he's shooting. I know I'm all over the place with the camera. I'm trying to find the best view to look at the action from whilst I'm attached to my fellow teammates. Obviously all the targets have disappeared. I don't know if he was being shot at then or not. He wasn't near those rock walls when they collapsed, but maybe the computer says he was. Yeah, I don't know if he planned to do this or not. He might very well have. I think he may have been getting shot at. Now he's heading back towards the base. Maybe to find out who was shooting at him. Oh yeah, there's an enemy that has now taken our base, trying to capture it, so he could be going back. Oh, somebody has stopped the enemy player that was there. And this fella, whoops, here comes an enemy tank. That was the one that was in the one that took me out, and he basically just ran right through the base. Didn't actually stop there to take it. And this one, you'd swear he was not knocked out, but as you can see, it's showing a black diamond. What has actually happened here, which has happened to me, and will actually happen in one of the other games to me, the crew has been knocked out. I should say the crew has been killed, even though the tank is not actually knocked out. So the tank is perfectly fine, but there's just nobody alive inside the tank. Back to my knocked out tank and back to another team player. So if I'm attached to any team player and their tank gets knocked out, when I click, I automatically go back to my own tank that's been knocked out before I can go to another team player. However, if I'm with a team player and they're still alive, I can click from one player to another, so long as whatever player I click on to does not get knocked out whilst I'm there. Because it's, as I said, once a team player is knocked out whilst I'm attached to them, then I have to go back to my tank before I can go and attach myself to another team player. Not sure what this particular player is doing. Look at the map. Yeah, freaking not even looking. He hasn't even got his gun towards the front. So, and he just basically run into a hornet's nest. He's given as good as he's getting. So he's got one above and one behind him, and they're both bugging out. It's 2 against 1. It was 3 against 1, and they all buggered off. So yeah. Decided to look for the one that was up here. He's not too sure, obviously, as to whether or not the enemy tank is behind there, because he's lost visual with him, and he's making sure everything's safe before he proceeds. At least that's what I'm thinking. And he's checking around to make sure nobody else. He's got a bit of a respite. Still, I'd say he's not too sure what's happening, because he knows there's 2 enemy tanks there. Not too sure which way to go, but still, it's starting to get a little annoying because he's not doing anything. Mind you, I do this myself as well, which also annoys me. And here comes the enemy now. Oh, took one shot at him and missed. And didn't miss. To the action. Whoa, he got taken out. So back to my tank again. This dude. Yeah. He's taking fire. I've got a tank behind him. thing I've noticed, I can do it myself at times. Everybody seems to think that to get onto target, they've got to move their turret, traverse their turret around to take out the enemy. You don't really need to do that. You can actually move it quicker if you move the whole tank and that. But when you're in the middle of a firefight, it's hard to do that. So you end up concentrating on moving the turret itself, because basically you're on the go. Everything's happening all at once and you just can't think, and that's the end of the game. So